He's running behind.
Busy guy.
He's on his way.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess we've got one more.
Dennis,
I didn't even see that one.
Oh, yeah.
can I say something?
All right.
But yeah, Rob.
Good morning. Call this meeting of the DDA to order on March 18th at 8 a.m.
He was still normal.
Val, will you take roll call, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
Rob Dionisio. Missing. Nick Forshee.
Present.
Joe Gadoff. I think he's just running late.
Yep.
Valerie Glander, I am here. Mr. Yoon Chai.
Thank you for saying it correctly. For the first time.
Joe Marucci.
Present.
Mayor Moffett.
Present?
Charlie Sampson.
Present.
Bonnie Swope.
Present.
Dennis Weiss. Missing. Kevin Schneider.
Present.
And Bob White.
Present.
All right.
All right. Thank you. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. So we had, I'm going to open for discussion, the February 2026 regular meeting minutes on the consent agenda.
Yeah, so I noticed in reading them over, there was items that were included in the minutes. We had to adjourn early because we weren't going to be in quorum, and there were some items that were on the minutes as though we discussed them during the meeting, but they were actually discussed after them. Yeah, so do we want to revise those to sort of, and then, but how do we, maybe we just put it as like addendums or notes afterwards, the things that were discussed after, so that they're out there and recorded, but not part of the minutes, I would think.
Yes, that's a good point.
Okay.
I can revise those.
Okay.
And I'll get those out, yes.
All right, thank you.
All right. And then I'll open for discussion the February 2026 special meeting minutes.
I move those be approved as presented.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 And then approving with the addendum, the February 2026 regular meeting minutes.
I think they need to come
They
back.
come back and we'll
Yeah,
approve them. Okay.
next time.
Okay, so we'll approve that. Perfect. On to new business. Valerie, you wanted to add in discussion of our budget?
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to add under new business an item I to discuss the 2026-27 budget that would be upcoming.
All right, we'll add that on. Or do we have to make a motion to add that?
I think so.
Support.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, on to new business. I move to open for discussion the February 2026 financial reports.
Support.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
I have a
Aye.
question first.
Yeah.
So I asked a question at the last meeting regarding delinquent property, personal property tax, and I think it was $10,000. Do you think that's collectible or not?
There's a couple thousand of that we think will be collected. So the county does send a monthly bill to those businesses. The city will leave it on receivables for about a year, and after 3 years, they're written off. So I think there was 7,700 total, and when I spoke with the finance director, he said between 3 and 4 should be receivable, or collectible, I'm sorry.
All right, thank you.
All right.
Could I ask a question on that? I missed the meeting, so I missed the discussion, but when was that, last year? Around June or July, we amended our budget for the same reason. Is this in addition to that, or was this?
This was noted on the last month's financial report, that 10,000 is still outstanding or is shown as delinquent.
We wrote
Okay,
off a
so is
very
that the
large-
same amount that was amended in June? Because,
No, we wrote off a larger amount then. That was the end of the 3 years, so there was a large amount that couldn't be collected. So
Right.
for businesses that, maybe went out. No, so this is in addition to that.
okay. So this is newer debt,
Correct.
and he's trying to capture it annually, or? Because I thought he said that we wouldn't really encounter this again for quite a long time. And then I was surprised to see it talked about again.
Yeah, I think it would be, he's trying to collect that annually. So the county will give us, I'd have to get clarification on how that reimbursement process works. But yes, this is new in addition to
what we
did last
approved
year.
in June,
Valerie,
July.
it changes every year when it goes delinquent. So you
Sure.
could have people, some you write off, and every year someone goes under and doesn't pay their personal property tax. So the number goes up and down every year.
Okay.
Based on business, going out of business, and how
Okay.
much we can collect and so forth. Actually, you're right, the county collects, gives it to us, and if they end up collecting, they're good, and if they don't, the city pays them back.
Okay. So this could come up anytime during the year. We
Well,
could-
it always shows as an amount, and it goes up and down depending on what you collect.
Okay.
All right. All right. Do I have a motion to approve those financial reports?
So moved.
Oh, yeah, I
thought we
think Sue
did, yeah.
moved
Yeah,
and
we're on it,
Joe,
yeah.
and we just need a vote.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
All right, moving on to Restaurant Week. Do you have anything on that?
This, I think I added this as an agenda item just so
Yeah.
we could button up our final,
Okay.
ideas and what we want to do for socials. Push for that.
Have we gotten any, sorry, I'll move to open this for discussion. And then,
I'll second.
thank you.
Sorry.
So have we received any specials from anybody? yet?
We've received 2.
2, okay,
Yes.
I'll send mine today.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
I'll have 3,
Okay, perfect.
What are the dates of Restaurant Week again?
the 22nd through the 28th
Of,
of March,
Next week.
next week.
oh, wow, and, oh, okay.
Coming fast.
I have a video ready to.
Perfect. That's, okay, yeah, I just wanted to button up if there was any last minute suggestions or add-ons to, like the social media pushes that we're doing. So,
Yeah, I think our big one would be if we can get either a post posted on the Clausen Facebook that has all the specials listed, maybe with the banner of Restaurant Week. And then, in the comments, we can post up the special here, special at Burger Bar, special whiskey, that way we can start doing that. And then encourage, that way at least other restaurants can see and then start encouraging them to maybe do some stuff. So,
Is there any way to get broader reach with that? Can you go to like an Oakland County Facebook or anything other than just like a Clausen Facebook?
I agree, 100%.
You can share it out, because
yeah,
Penny Hoops, she tends to share everything from Clausen.
yeah.
So if we tag her or push it to her, I'm sure she'll be more than happy.
Should be.
Yeah.
I got some good friends in Detroit. They run some downtown restaurant businesses and whatnot, and they're big on like the DJ scene and stuff. And if that's what we're looking for that week, because we.
I think it's more than foodies.
Yeah, right. But I'm saying
Hey, Rob.
the young kids. They're,
If you want, use that mic. She'll make it hot for you, so you can get recorded.
That sounded funny.
So, cool.
Do we want to put the information on the website as well?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have just a banner on there right now, right?
Yeah.
So,
Pretty generic,
Yeah.
but we can put anything on there or point people to the website with further details if we want.
Yeah.
Some more options than just
yeah,
social.
I think I got access to the Facebook. I'll look at adding us to some groups like Royal Oak Eats, and then there's Troy Happenings and stuff like that too, so we can do a little bit more of a spread on there.
Royal Oak's already making their way out here.
Yeah.
I'm seeing them more and more, actually. I'm up 20%, and they're all from Royal Oak.
Love that.
Yeah, which is.
I thought the
very good.
chamber had talked about doing videos, like short videos at each of the businesses. Are they still doing that? or-
I think our biggest obstacle we ran into is actually running into the owners or the people that have that, or it's that in-between bridge of like, hey, we need to do this, and it's just not happening.
Getting it
with
scheduled, or
Yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah, so it may take some of us, like as business owners,
Yeah,
to do
work
that.
together,
Yeah,
which we can.
yeah,
There's no doubt about it. Now, knowing my neighbor to the right of me and then Noble, they can do that. My strip, I feel like I can work with all of them. So you just do your thing. I don't know about the new guys that are gonna move in across the street from you. Maybe they'll be on, maybe they'll be off,
Yeah.
but I believe that my strip, they'll all work together.
Cool.
so we'll include the socials, and then we'll also send anything for the website to you, Kevin?
Perfect.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. All right. Anything else on Restaurant Week? Fantastic. Moving on to the state solution invoice.
So I did reach out and I asked for an invoice for the item we discussed last month. So it was An outstanding invoice from 2022. The gentleman provided 4 hours, approximately 4 hours of design service, and he was charging $100 per hour. He ended up with the invoice for $380.
Okay.
So if we have any questions on that, I'm happy to get answers.
And then, did we approve that last time, or we approved to ask for the quote and then?
Correct.
So I'll make a motion that we pay the outstanding balance of $380 to State Solutions.
Support.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. All right. America 250 banners.
So, the city administration proposes installing commemorative banners downtown on the light poles to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States. The attached rendering was provided as an addendum to the originally proposed images. And so we're thinking instead of doing multiple different banners, we're gonna stick with just one that's branded, based on the feedback of the board. So the city's willing to contribute 50% to purchasing these. If the DDA is also interested, we'll move forward with that today.
And what was that total that the DDA would be paying?
So as of right
the
now,
total?
we're only gonna be buying 59, so that brings the grand total to 2,758, so we would be paying 50% of that cost.
Okay.
Right now, we're struggling to find the infrastructure to do every single light pole, so if we somehow come across that, then we could up it. But as of right now, I think I would just ask for the 50% of the 59 banners.
Okay.
So that would be, we'd be putting a banner on every other light pole downtown.
With the improved infrastructure, is there a way that we could also get a kind of generic 4th of July summertime banner
I
in
think that
place of that? That way we have banners that can then stay up for multiple years as opposed to 250, which we'll have for 1 year.
It was actually
That's
going
fair.
to, yeah, that was going to be part of my admin comment, is we have a very large fund balance, and so I think it's probably time we start investing some of that into the downtown. Because what we need is like 25% of our overall budget in that fund balance, and we are way over that. So I think it's time that we can start investing in some of these improvements, and I think that would be a perfect one.
Yeah, because I mean, we've been known as a 4th of July town forever.
Yes.
And I think it'd be great to kind of have that like displayed in the downtown, support the 4th of July committee and all that. I think it'd be a
love
great
that.
thing, so.
Yeah, I
All
think
right.
that's a great idea.
We'll table that for now, but for the America 250, do we have a motion to fund those?
Would those be coming out of the tech fund? Is that the?
We can, so that's something I wanted to speak on as well. So our tech funds we were using for beautification, so I could include this in that, and then we wouldn't be spending it out of our operating supplies. So that, I would just ask that if the board is gonna consider that, that we include that in the motion so that I can submit it to Oakland County.
Okay. With the tech funds, we had discussed doing planters and what else was there?
It was beautification,
It was just kind of a generic, but it was
Yeah.
planters for the most
Yes.
part. Okay,
yes.
okay.
Just giving the discretion to me and the city essentially to use those funds. So if we wanted to dedicate a portion of those, I would think that would be a great idea.
Okay.
I agree with that, just because it's kind of like that, we should spend grant money first.
Yeah.
We have to have the paperwork submitted. It just leaves money free for other projects later.
Yeah.
So,
Do we need a motion for that?
We do need a motion.
I second it.
So,
want to make the motion, Marty?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'll make the motion.
and the motion, to articulate the motion, it would be that we use the tech
Yeah,
funds
yeah.
to purchase the banners, is what we're talking about
As
right
long
now.
as that's
Okay.
all right with everybody else, I believe.
Okay. So Marty made the motion, and I second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Clausen Market Band.
Let me get there, sorry. Okay, so the WOW is a local band that does a lot of covers. They've submitted an application to be a part of the Clausen Market, but they're a little bit different from your regular vendor because they are asking for payment, obviously, for their time. So they're proposing being at the market from 11 to 1, which is just after we start, so we'll be there from 10 to 2. So it gives them a little bit of time. They said, if things are going really good, they don't mind staying over and they wouldn't charge for that, but they are asking for $300 per market day. And so if this is something that the board would like to support, I think there would be room for them by the clock downtown because, like Charlie mentioned, there is power there. So if they need to plug in their equipment, there's space. They're also local to Clawson, so they reside in Clawson, they teach in Clawson. They're a fun group of individuals. So hopefully everybody got a chance to check out the links.
I checked out their Facebook links, and their songs are nice in sort of like middle of the roady, right? My other question would be, like, they're going to be just performing. They're not going to be busking, right? So are they going to be looking for tips or?
I would say no.
Okay, and
No.
I think that we should make that clear as part of our engagement with them, that since you're being paid, that you're just performing, period, full stop. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right.
Can you remind me how we are setting them up? I think I remember the discussion, we're setting up certain vendors along 14 and certain along, is that like in
so-
the heart of everything on the corner there?
Yeah, so what we discussed was on 14 would most likely be more food vendors, mainly because the wind is kind of an unknown issue every day down there. And then on the main street thoroughfare would be more vendors with items that could be breakable or whatnot. Obviously, people are going to want to be where they want to be, and we'll kind of have to go with that as we go. But that would be kind of your central location, and I think it gives you that pivot point of you walk down, you see the band, now you look up the street, you see, there's vendors up by Leon and Lulu, there's vendors down by Detroit Burger Bar. So you can kind of have that like a better flow because you have something to draw you to it. So I think just by that clock, again, the power, the other power outlet that we have would be over by the Clawson Grill. Which that one, I mean, it's kind of in just no man's land. It's by that parking lot. And so I think that, putting it on the corner, hey, what's going on in Clawson? People driving down 14 Mile, you'll see that. So
We don't have any power at the lot there at the Pizza Hut lot. If people wanted to start congregating. I mean, just like.
As far as I understand, we do not have power there. We have, I believe there's a drop on the lot on the other side of the cleaners.
There is the Broadacre lot.
Yeah, the Broadacre
Now,
lot.
now, the Greeks still own that corner?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Well,
so,
just talk
and-
to the Greeks and then have them do something for the city.
I think they actually need the infrastructure put in because when they took down all the old Pizza Hut, all
Okay,
that went
okay.
away.
All right.
If we had it, it would be at the back end of the lot if there was any power to it.
Yeah, feels easy to deal with.
Yeah.
Was there a plan to search for musicians, or did they just offer? I'm just curious, when we did the farmers markets, there was a different performer or different musician every week, rather than the same entertainment every week the whole season. Is that something that we want to consider, or it just seemed like there's other people in Clawson that were performing at the farmers markets, other musicians and things?
That would be up to the board completely. These are the only individuals that have voiced interest.
Okay.
And I know from talking to Penny Lubes in the past, who ran the farmer's market for many, many years, I mean, it was always like searching out and getting someone scheduled, and then I believe she also paid those people as well. So I think that because they came forward, it kind of takes one thing off of everyone's plate of searching people for each event,
I think having as well a good working relationship, we know what they're going to play, we know that they will show up. Expectations can be managed a lot better if it's one. I do think it could be a thing of, like, in the future, maybe putting it out there saying, hey, if you want to perform, these are the weekends we have available, this is our rate, what would you like to do? I think would be a good thing to look for. But I think as this, for keeping this simpler for this next year, one band, we know how it goes, we can kind of troubleshoot things, figure out what's going on. Is it so loud on 14 Mile that we have to move them? All those little issues that may come up, and it'd be nice to be able to work with one group.
What were
as
the
opposed to-
total numbers, the total number of market days again? Do you remember?
We have six.
Six,
For the
okay,
summer.
thanks.
And then they were going to play all 6.
Yes.
Okay.
How many people in the band?
3.
Okay.
So, all right. Do we have a motion to approve? Do we have a motion to put out a feeler for other bands.
I move that we approve the application of the WOW band for all 6 Market Day events of 2026.
And also that we fund it with the $1,800, because that would take our entire farmer's market budget, right?
That's
Which I
a
think
little
is what
high
we
for a
figured.
band. I think, for how many hours do they play? I'm just curious.
So from 11 to
2
1,
hours?
so 2
For
hours.
2 hours, $300?
Yeah, that's not high at all, in my
Yeah.
opinion. No
It's $100 each.
Well, I
one
pay
of the band.
$200 for 6-hour shifts at the Lavender Festival, and we have about 20 different bands, so
We maybe-
it's possible. I'm not saying that,
Yeah.
it just seems, I just was curious why it would be the same band the whole season, but if everybody thinks that's a good fit, I was just
Do you think they
curious.
could squeeze in a day for free and we just feed them?
Well, if you, I just was curious.
No,
I'm
I
not
agree.
opposing it, but,
I think it simplifies our inaugural year of the Market Day,
Yeah.
and then we'll see, as millions and millions of people come down to buy stuff, and for, I'm sure, the mimosa specials that are gonna be at some restaurant, that they'll, it'll just help build the momentum, and next year we can just expand it and do other cool stuff.
We would likely have to amend the budget for the market though, because we still have to acquire, porta potty. So I feel like that's something we can't skip
Yeah.
on. So that's something we definitely need.
Okay. So we had a motion for the approval of the band WOW. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second it.
Okay.
Wait, sorry, who was the first second?
Never mind.
Kevin?
Kevin, sorry.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Would somebody like to make a motion to amend the farmer's market budget at this point?
I think that would be a good.
I think that would be a good
Yeah.
idea too.
So I make a motion to have a discussion about how we should amend the budget to accommodate any other potential expenses.
Could I make the suggestion of a motion for a budget not to exceed? So the porta potty rentals were typically just a little over $100 per market day. So if we were to add in that cost and maybe a little small
So,
amount of padding.
so if I were to make a motion to increase the, like, by $1,000, is that reasonable?
That is
Okay,
reasonable.
so, all right, so I'll do that. I'll amend my motion to say that that I move that we amend the budget for the market day to increase it by $1,000.
I'm sorry, I don't think that's enough.
Yeah.
You don't?
I mean, if
Doesn't
we
seem like it
need
adds
to
up.
include $1,800 for a band and $600 for the porta potties, and previously
So,
we
so
had the
20,
face
2,800
painter.
is what we'd have to approve
maybe
it
just
for.
increase the amount for the band.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you
The
said we.
current budget is $2,000,
Okay,
correct?
that's, yes.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Did we fund this year's farmer's market at $2,000?
We have-
Sorry, hold on. Oh, no, sorry. I wrote down all our motions so far this year, that I have that written as a future, that we had discussed at the last
Yeah.
meeting, that $2,000 was what we spent last year. So we haven't funded officially the farmer's market at all.
So what would be a number we should look at?
Well, I think Kristen said that last year $2,000 covered what we provided last year, which was the porta potties and the face painter?
We did
Is
not
that
pay
correct?
the face painter. We did
Okay.
the porta potties, and then we did a lot of advertising, like print material.
Sure, which we'll need again.
yeah.
And it changed from last year because of the format.
So then we need to increase it by an additional $1,500 to incorporate the porta potties and the print material.
Yes. I'm sorry, I was
Okay.
off the first time. I wasn't.
Okay, no, I'm just talking, man.
Yeah.
So I amend my motion to increase the budget from
To fund it.
the funding, whatever the financial vehicle we're using, from 2,000 to 3,500.
Okay, to fund the farmer's market at 3,500.
I think it's good if we increase it this year. This year, I think our town is blowing up.
Yeah.
So do it however you want, but the more the better. And if, whatever, man, I mean, because it's only going up from here.
So do I have a second for my?
I
Yeah.
will take
You have my
Marty,
second. You got my second.
Joe, you have a question?
So, Susan, I don't think that still gets you to the number we need to be, because just the band is 1,800.
The band's 1,800, porta potty is 600. So that gets us
I
to.
think that would be a good amount.
Okay, I'm fine, it just
Yeah.
seems like 2,000 covered last year, and if we were just going to 1,500 more, it seems like you're at 35. And it sounds like the original budget included porta potties.
It did.
That's just what, the band alone's gonna be 1,800.
So
Don't you get the 3,800?
I get what you're saying, 35 is what we want, not 2,500.
38,
I think you gotta be at least at 38 to cover just the.
But I hear
band
four.
If we're at 2,000, and that's what covered last year, we added, and we keep everything last year and add the
I agree.
band at 1,800.
Just add the band
Aren't you at
amount.
3,800?
Isn't the band doing multiple events though, not just a farmer's market? So it's like a split of that, right?
Well, the write-up says six days at 300.
So today, we can make the motion to approve the band, funding the band, and I can bring more information back.
That's a good
next
idea.
month,
I just think,
to discuss the final budget for the market.
that was my only thought is.
Yeah.
I just wanna make sure the number's
Would
correct,
it
not
be
the.
too much to ask, to talk them down to 250? You could say $50,
like
6
it's
days,
pretty
that's
high.
$300 right there, and then we get another donation from any other restaurant, me, you, or whoever, a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there, and then we're there where we need to be. Do they really need $300 for 2 hours of play? I'm just saying.
Yeah. So
Cause
to simplify, I'm gonna rescind my motion and then reinstate the motion
Okay.
to and I'm personally fine with the $300. It's $100 each band member per event, and so I get the. If you take 50 away, then they gotta fight over who gets the 50. So so I'm going to make the
Drummer.
right. So I'll then I'll again make the motion that we approve the WOW band for the 2026 summer market events at $300 per event. Full stop.
I'll second.
Excuse me, what would happen if you just capped it at $4,000? And if we spent less?
I don't disagree with you, but I like the idea of being more transparent and Kristen coming back with some estimates of what we're gonna actually need. So if we just approve the band and then our next meeting, we're gonna have a full menu of what we potentially need so that we can make a more educated guess on the number instead of just throwing numbers out like I've been, so.
Joe?
Why don't you just cap it to where you want it, and if it goes over, can I pay the difference?
Yeah, I'll help you, Joe.
I mean, I'm just, I'm not gonna shortchange a band. I pay that for quality, and, I'm not gonna sit there, and I don't wanna be that town that is short. So if it's over it, I'll put it in writing, I'll pay whatever it is, I don't care. I'll go up to $1,000 over.
I think 300 was what they want, that's the motion on the floor,
I'm talking
300,
about
yeah.
the whole thing,
Right.
instead of arguing about 100, 200, not arguing, excuse me, I apologize, but I'll just pay the difference, and if you want to put it towards the band or you want to put it towards Lily's on the side of the road, I don't care.
That's a very generous offer, but I think what Kristen is saying, we need to understand what that number is, and we don't have the data right now, so she's
I
gonna
don't have
come
a
with the data.
problem with it, I want to put it on record,
Yep.
that if whatever number you agree upon, I will pay whatever is over, if I'm allowed to do that for the board.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, thank you.
So there's a motion on the floor for the band.
I will second that motion for the band.
And Joe.
All in favor?
I
Aye.
feel like a pirate.
All right. Cinema in the streets.
All right, so last year we started our Star Wars saga. So in speaking to Funflix, we can use any Star Wars film after 2015, I believe. So the total cost for the screen rental and film licensing last year was approximately $2,500. If we wanted to continue with the Star Wars film, I think I would say it would be feasible to pick the next movie.
Chronological.
Yes, yes. As long as it's after that 2015 date, right? And I think we'd probably be looking at a very similar budget.
Okay. And then we were able to get sponsorship funds for a lot of that, right? Did that cover the whole?
That covered, yeah, it was a wash.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
I think we were in the positive $300 to $400.
I think we would too, yes.
Which movie has Jar Jar? Let's not do that one.
We already did. It was good. It's done. We're through it. Band-Aid's off.
Okay.
All right.
Do we have a date for that yet?
July 25th, so it's the evening market.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I remember now.
And we coordinated,
Or 3 weeks after the 4th.
Correct.
and we coordinated that with the chief.
We
right?
did, yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Have we discussed a rain date?
We We have not, and we
Okay.
should.
Yes, we should. I think just one of our bigger things that I think hurt us last year was we scheduled the rain date kind of on the fly, and it wasn't advertised out. So being able to come up with our advertisements with, this is the date it's going to be, this is our backup date, right on it.
If the rain prediction is over 40%, Funflix will call it on their own, and we have no say.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And so it was like right on the cusp last year, and Charlie and I were kind of talking throughout the morning, and Funflix eventually called and they said, hey, I'm not gonna make you do it, but we're gonna recommend that you shut it down. So I
Yeah.
think it is good to have that date,
Yeah.
that backup date out there.
We switched it over to September. Was it
Yeah,
September?
it
we
was
did right?
September 15th or something.
Yeah.
But that it flew in the face of some school activities and that kind of stuff. So what if we just push it 2 weeks to August 8th as the rain day?
That's the car show.
Oh, well, let's not do
So,
that.
so August is pretty much, you have the car show,
Oh,
you have
and
Dream
then
Cruise,
you-
Clausen Fest.
You're right.
Following that would be maybe the 29th, but that falls into,
That is my birthday weekend, so
What's the week of
so you wanna watch Jar Jar Binks, I see.
what if
What's the August 1st date
Yeah.
look like? Is something then?
this one?
It'd be nice to keep them really close together.
I agree.
Yeah, August 1st. Sorry.
Or even if a Friday night is feasible. I mean,
Yeah,
a Saturday is really nice, don't get me wrong, but
But, yeah, a Friday night's not a bad idea.
As of right now, August 1st, I don't have anything on our agenda. Do we know anything with the schools that are going on in that time frame?
I don't know,
Nothing,
is
right?
school even in? No,
Yeah.
no.
We're not
Yeah.
doing anything now.
Nothing, okay. So tentatively, we'll use August 1st as our rain date.
I like
Is
that.
that a Friday?
It's Saturday.
Okay, good.
All right.
So do we need a motion for any of that?
I think for the funding.
For the budget,
Yeah.
So I move that we budget for Cinnamon the Street as presented.
All right.
I'll second, but a question, should we up it? If it was 2,500 last year, should we increase it slightly?
we could do not to exceed
2,700?
20, yeah.
I mean, it'd be nice, I know you guys did a lot of really inexpensive props, but if we had a little bit of budget to put some brainstorming behind that, we could do something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially with the market day and everything going down.
I haven't been to one, but do they do popcorn or anything like that? Is that available?
So in years past, like with Whiskey Taco, like we did popcorn and just handed it out. I think it would be something that, like, if we did that as the DDA and served popcorn,
Yeah.
would be
Yeah,
a
like
really cool
concession
thing.
stand kind of a thing.
You know, last year we did,
Down the rabbit hole. Did popcorn, did
Was it-
yeah, down the rabbit hole.
Wasn't Love of
And then we
Fruit
also
here,
did
the
the
food truck, too?
Yes.
lightsabers that you could buy that were pool noodles. Thank you, Alec, for putting those all together. And Kristen, thank you. So I think one of the things that we discussed before, again, we're very good at throwing events and whatnot, but again, capitalizing on, like, how can we bring some more money in to do more beautification and stuff of that nature. We maybe, like, figure out a volunteer tent where we serve some popcorn, we maybe sell the lightsabers. Last year we did it more of a social media thing of, like, hey, follow the social media because we needed to grow that.
For one, it's for the kids too.
Yeah.
So it's not really, I don't know, just talking, less is more for the kids. As
Yeah.
long as they got that movie theater thing and they're with their mom and dads, that's all that matters.
Yeah, so we could look at it, definitely an opportunity of, you know, maybe even doing some candy and whatnot and
Yeah.
kind of pushing that
Something
whole.
small, keep
Yeah.
it simple, stupid, because, not you, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
'Cause
What was the name of
more
that, what was the name of that group that came out just up,
The,
The 501st Legion.
501st?
yeah.
We didn't, they just came out voluntarily, correct?
Yeah,
I'll request them as well.
The stormtrooper guys,
Yeah.
yeah, they show up at a lot of stuff, yeah.
I take it we have a lot of kids at the, Cinnamon Streets.
yeah.
What if we did, like, not that it's a big deal, but do some of the kids dress up?
We did have a costume contest
Yeah.
last year.
Okay, good,
Yeah.
good, okay, I was gonna
Continuing that would
maybe
be
promote
good.
that a little bit, I don't know if there's a picture booth or something like that, be kinda cool,
that's a good
whatever.
I- A picture booth is a really good idea. We didn't have that last year, and I think getting the word out there, like making that more of a, event. We also had a lot of success. Alec, the Chamber of Commerce, hosted a 50-50 raffle on our behalf, and so that brought in a lot of what helped us, break even. So I think if we continue that, we can ask for donations from, businesses around town. to contribute.
You have my donation, so just come and ask. Yeah.
All right, so we have a motion to approve the budget, or the second was from Joe?
Yeah, but he suggested amending the, not to.
Yeah, is it too early, since looks like we're gonna do popcorn and maybe a contest for costumes, and are there prizes? Should we just approve the concept and then wait for Kristen to come up with a budget to, instead of acting on 3,000, find out it's a little short and having to do it
I
again?
can,
What's the board and you feel like?
I can request the screen rental invoice. That way we have a base of what our biggest expense is going to be, and then we can go from there. So I can bring that back next month.
We could look at popcorn machine rental, if you want to do it that way.
Whether or not you're gonna give prizes for costumes
Yeah.
and things like that?
Yeah.
Lightsabers or
Well,
whatever the
they
case.
did the cost.
The sponsorship that those
businesses.
businesses pay for at the beginning
Yes.
is on the screen. That's through the chamber, correct?
No, that's through
Through
DDA.
DDA.
Okay.
Yeah, and for the most part, like, it's $100 to get your
Yeah,
advertisement on there, so I mean, for the most part, that covers the screen, or at least helps us with that break-even point. We're just kind of capitalizing on other stuff that we could do to kind of bring in some things and make it a little more comfortable. So, because it's, for years in past, it's always been we break even, you know.
Who's kind of the spokesman of that cinema event, if you don't mind me asking?
What do you mean, like the?
Well, there's always
Host
somebody
or-
that does, I think there's a gentleman by the name of Bill that kind of runs it, or? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We have the gentleman that almost like MCs the event. I think that changes every year. We had Charlie do a
Yeah.
lot of the talking last
Fine.
year.
Yeah.
Because he's free, right?
Wanna
Make sure, I just,
I
I'm
think
there.
you're talking Bill Kelly was on the DDA board
Yeah.
a number of years
Yeah,
ago. I
Bill.
think he used
Yeah,
to
Bill
do
Kelly
it.
used to be the MC.
so is he still the MC?
No,
Okay.
no. So yeah, mainly it's been me, but we're also open to volunteers. So
No, you're perfect. You were my election on that one, Charlie.
thank you. Thanks. Volunteered again. Love it.
So I made a motion that I think it sounds like we need to amend the motion to ask Kristen to come back to the next meeting with, again, a proposal for the expenses so that we can set the, so I don't think I need to make a motion. I'll just rescind my motion and you can,
Do we have an issue on potentially losing the date if we do not get it approved to book the screen? Just because next month we're looking, into April basically, and then we're looking 3 months.
In years past, I think this was the
The
time
one.
that I booked it.
Okay. So do we want to book at least the screen for right now, or at least approve a budget for that?
so we can go back to my original motion
Yeah.
that we approve.
Just because I don't want to get to a
That's
spot
right.
where we go, this is the date we're doing it, and we got
Yeah.
our market and everything.
All right.
I'd rather lock that in.
So I move that we approve the date and the expense relative to booking the screening and the film for, what is
Yeah.
it? What's the date? The 25th?
July.
July 25th. Yeah.
Do we want, okay. So we have a not to exceed 2,500 or just whatever
It's
the
it's just
contract
the
comes
it's
back?
just the
Yeah.
the already proposed
The
thing,
proposed
yeah.
screen. What that comes
Okay,
back to.
the FunFlix contract, we'll approve the date and the FunFlix contract. Okay. Just want to make sure I capture it right.
So a question on the dates of the screen. I know that you want them close to close, which kind of makes sense. I know when people are renting out stuff, that they're booked up way in advance. Obviously, we got to get this booked up in
Yeah.
advance, but how does that work? Have we ever had a rain day on this where we had to do it? I'm asking. And how
Yeah,
did it
so-
work
so-
with the people with the screen is where I'm going with it.
Yeah, so last year, like we were discussing earlier, if there's more of a 40% chance that it's going to rain, storm, high winds, they have the right to cancel on us with a rain date that we would determine at that point. So this year, we're coming out and saying that our rain date is going to be August 1st.
Right.
Which will be good. We usually have to make the call the day of, just because it's Michigan.
right.
So.
But I guess my question is,
Yeah.
we had a rain date last year, right?
Yeah.
How far after we did it? I thought it was not a week after. I thought it was a little bit longer.
It was 3 months roughly.
2 months
2 months, yeah.
So what I'm saying is that these people book their whole summer in advance.
Yeah.
You might have a problem with the week later. They might have a problem with
Yeah.
it. you know, you can't book it back to back.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with it. 2 months, they can probably do some things, whatever they do,
Yeah.
the company, but I can see a problem happening back to back. That might be a question you might want to bring up.
Yeah,
You
so,
bring up a good point.
I think the intention is just to have something already fixed, because you guys, we had to make it up and then people didn't know.
Yeah.
And that people couldn't, like, they didn't know what was gonna happen, and it fell in with some school stuff, and that it impeded attendance.
When I book the screen, I will ask if they can accommodate our rain date if that were to happen, just so it's on their books too, as something that is a potential.
Yeah.
And then we can include it in our print material so people can plan accordingly.
Right,
yeah.
I don't, if I'm a company and I know how some of these rental places are, cause I've used them, it's, you know, they're gonna say, well, hey, you gotta, you know, that close together, 3 months or 2 months, a month is probably even pushing it for me if I'm a business owner. That's the way I look at it. So I don't know if that's gonna be a problem, that date, so I don't know.
they've been pretty good to work with so far. I do believe they have multiple screens. They just tend to send
Sure.
like certain people out. I mean, it does come down to staffing, you know, in the end, but
Understood.
yeah,
I'm just throwing it out there, that's
Yeah.
all, so.
appreciate it.
If there is a group that wants to brainstorm what this could be like, I would gladly volunteer to be a part of it. I don't know how.
So we, I'll double check after the meeting, but I'll let you know our next promotional meeting, and then we can kind of sit down and get you involved in that.
Sounds good.
You know,
Yeah, that'd be, we provided a whole bunch of games last year.
yeah,
And it'd be nice to have other people help provide games and stuff like that too.
yeah.
You did a great job at it.
Rob, you've increased our games
Yeah.
just immensely, so thank you.
We need to vote on
Alright.
that?
So you had the motion. Do we have a second?
Seconded.
Okay, perfect.
So, okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Development reports.
Our biggest change with the development report is that 150 North Main is proposed to be demolished this week. So I'm gonna leave that, that's the high note, we're done with the development report. I think that's
Whoa.
all the good news we needed.
So it's Wednesday, what are they gonna do? Like,
I saw guys out there this morning, so
Yeah?
hopefully it's,
and are
yeah.
they gonna like implode it, like in the movie? That would be so cool.
I have a feeling they won't, but you know.
Darn.
And that's the PNC
Yes.
project. Okay, perfect. That's fantastic to see it going.
Do we know, I'm sorry to interrupt, do we know the company or the people that have taken it over?
Yes, I'm sure Nick Stepnitz has their
Okay.
contact info. And I know it, it's just not coming to the top
It's
of my
okay.
head right now.
So I just wanna know.
Yeah, they had, we made them come to multiple council meetings,
Yeah.
like the developer was well known, so, yeah.
Oh, he's a well-known developer?
Yeah.
Well, because we gave them a hard time, so yeah.
Of course, he's very well-known, you gotta stick it to him, you know.
Well, that's great news to hear.
That's how it works.
So that's-
Okay, cool.
That's the biggest news, really, all I have to share on
Okay.
development.
All right, on to committee reports. Promotion side, we've got, obviously, we discussed Restaurant Week coming up. We've got a game plan for that. Clausen Fest is all set now. So Clausen Fest is rolling. We got our market days all set, which is great. I've been working on a rough budget for the Clausen prom that we've discussed. Now, if I have it here, okay. So again, very rough budget. So in an estimate of ticket sales, so if we said somewhere around, made this event for around 200 people and we sold tickets for about 100 or 125, we had discussed a ticket value of $100 to $175. We'd bring in roughly about 25,000 just as a core base. Our budget costs, so this would be things from wristbands to plastic cups, trash. I did not do porta potties because Leon and Lulu has offered their bathrooms, which is kind of great because if we're going to throw a prom, having a porta potty just doesn't seem
Not
great.
classy enough, yeah.
Not classy enough, or we'll get a fancy one. So we were looking, this is also with a purchase of a tent, purchase of tables, which these are some things that we can also get either borrowed for free, whatever. We'd be looking at roughly about $8,000 to execute the whole thing. So minusing that from the total ticket sales, we'd bring in roughly about $18,000. That would not cover, or that would not also be any drink sales if we decided to go full-on bar sales of that nature. The aspect of the prom would be you'd come in, you would get a welcome cocktail. We'd have potentially a taste of Clausen where the restaurants come out and serve a small pass appetizer or a product of their own. We can kind of fill that out as that kind of grows. But yeah, so I can kind of dig more into this, get a more detailed budget out there, so we can bring it to council if we have interest in moving forward with this.
Where would this
Or
take
if
place,
we-
Charlie?
What now?
Where would this take place?
So we were discussing of doing it in the alley between Pandemonium
Yeah,
and
that's
Lee and the
exactly what
Luna.
I was thinking. That,
Yeah,
that was
so it
really
kind
cool.
of gives you that nice, you go in, I had a small layout that I kind of drew up of basically kind of how you come in, dance floor, that kind of stuff.
Many, jack of all trades.
You know? All those years of AutoCAD, right?
Yep.
So yeah, so that's kind of where we're looking at. I can go through in more detail after the meeting if you guys want to look at some of the stuff on what we're doing. Again, there's that $8,000 budget is us not asking for help from anybody. You know, it's some discussion too of like we're purchasing alcohol. Is it something that like does Weiss become involved in, and do we do something of that nature so we can keep the cost lower? Obviously, bring in Clausen businesses, potentially discussing with Grand River where you know maybe they can brew the beer for us. Those kind of things. I kind of went with a real typical like Labatt keg just as a base price, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
and
it's cheap
obviously
right
it's everybody in Clausen I think loves Labatt, you know.
Yeah, baseline.
Excuse me, what date are we talking about?
We discussed having that be on September 25th. The event would go from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Yeah. So, and kind of one of those things that kind of get people in. If we figure that 10 p.m. end time gets you, you know, hey, we're done. Let's go over to another restaurant potentially. You know, get a cocktail, nightcap, whatever. So, yeah. Any other questions?
We had talked about, I think Kristen got pricing from C&G, and we talked last year about putting a half page together with our event schedule. It
Yeah.
sounds like we're getting pretty close with most of those dates.
Yeah.
Maybe we need another month, but we should consider next month spending that. I think it was $850 for a half page. It'd be a good time to get everything in front of
Awesome.
everybody in the region.
Cool. Great. So along the lines with that, do we have support? Shall we continue to move forward with Clausen Prom and planning?
I make a motion that we move forward with planning Clausen Adult Prom for September 25th, because I'm very excited about it.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
I would say, and this is just like a future comment, I love the September and it's outside.
Yeah.
But if it's successful, trying to fill some of that empty spot in our calendar. I think Restaurant Week is gonna
Yeah.
fill a big gap now, but it could be a good winter event,
Absolutely.
you know.
You know.
And I don't know where we host it and.
Yeah.
Adult Snowball.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
we could do this 4 times a year if you want.
You should.
All right. Joe?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Just for future reference, I mean, since we're talking about it, how hard would it be to make a rink by that Pizza Hut for like skating out there, maybe light it up? I thought you just triggered something. I don't know.
We did that. So the city of Clausen did that in years past, and I don't know what, there was an issue with keeping the rink.
It's the conditioning of the ice and
Right.
keeping it frozen.
Where
You
did
wouldn't
they
have
do
that
that?
problem
I
this year.
thought he couldn't get it, I thought Greg Kucera had tried to do it on the empty lot on the other side of the laundry.
Maybe
Yeah.
that's
And
what
it was never built, but they encountered
Oh.
some major issue that they couldn't build it.
Vaguely remember that.
I don't know.
Just tossing it out there. It
Yeah.
would be kind of cool, like where the Pizza Hut is at.
Would there be liability concerns with
Yeah.
me
Of
falling
course.
and breaking my neck trying to roll
It,
ice
it,
skate?
it would come into like having a person to monitor and then
Safety
yeah.
and then not having people go on it when it's not closed is probably, the
People
coffin
can fall
nail.
on, people can fall on our sidewalks, but they are beautifully paved. They're evenly matched, our sidewalks, so.
I think been there, done that, got the lawsuit.
Yep. All right.
I think
Moving
as we
on
grow
to
those big
organization.
ideas-
What's that?
As we grow, those big ideas are things to always
Yeah.
throw
You know,
out on the
just
table.
whatever, just, whatever. I doubt if that'll ever happen, but, something like that.
It's good. Good to dream.
Never
Well,
say
it's-
never,
it-
dude.
I mean, you picture a town,
Yeah.
you know, not, we're not out, you know, where you picture a nice little town where people could take their kids somewhere trick or treating. You know, I did like a snowman event. I did a pizza party for the kids. Like they Facebook us when we had a snowstorm. But last year's winter, I mean, you could have made a rink and had not even touched it.
Yeah.
But I guess there is a ton of liabilities involved, so I get it. So
We're on this topic.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen Gilmore Girls?
Yeah.
Yes.
man,
Okay.
yes.
All right.
You are all on record.
I don't know what the logistics are around that property. It seems like the owners of Mojave own that space.
Yes.
Yeah.
What kind of logistics surround that being, because it's such an iconic part of the downtown. Like you throw like a big white gazebo in there and now all of a sudden that becomes the centerpiece of the entire town. That's where bands play.
We get a troubadour.
A troubadour on every corner. A Taylor Dosey walking around yelling at people.
I love this man.
Charlie.
You know what though? He's got his father-in-law dealing with some things, and everybody's dealing with health issues right now. And I know them. Maybe give us some time. We should all go accordingly to him, and correctly say, "Hey, you're a part of the town. Whether you want to be in that corner or the." Because I think that they want to be a part. I just feel like they got a lot of issues going on.
Yeah, I think they
There's
have.
no buffer between us and.
I don't think they want to block that side view either, though.
No, but they bought it. They bought it.
I understand, but I don't
You
think
know
they
what I'm
want to
saying?
block
They pay the
that.
taxes on it. They can get a taxes. They can work it out. They're not stupid people, man.
I-
Phil is looking to develop that piece of property, and he's not going to put a gazebo or hire a troubadour, but he's looking to build. He's hired architects, and I know he's working with the planning department to get approval to build a structure, and that piece of property.
And we're talking time frame.
Yeah, what's the
5 years,
timeline?
10 years, because he's had it for 6 years now.
That's a problem. I mean, you can encourage people to develop as much as you want, but ultimately it lies with them. And so I think something to think about maybe down the road is would the DDA support taking some kind of resolution to planning commission to say, hey, make this worth my while. I want to go up 4 stories as opposed to limiting,
There you go.
my
Yeah.
what we have in the city center right now. So I think that's like a long term, like what would we like to see? What would encourage people to develop on these parcels that have been sitting vacant? What would light the fire for them,
And
right?
another thing too, sorry to interrupt. I think they've been here long enough. I've been here long. Like all of us can say we've been here long enough where we actually can earn ourselves to go up versus somebody coming in new, going up and paying off and doing this and doing. It's like people work every day, man. We want to go up just as much as everybody else, but without the outside people, is what I'm saying. So I think it would be in his best interest to give him the okay to do what he wants to do, if he wants to do it. But it's been 6 years. Nothing against him. I'm just saying he bought it, tore it down, and something should have happened already. I mean, why not work with the city and help him get a easier line, So,
It would be nice, yes. It's in the heart of downtown.
yeah.
I think we'd all like to see some kind of movement
For
on that
sure.
corner.
All right.
Did we have a vote on the prom? I want to make sure we codify the prom. I want the prom.
We had
We had a motion.
a motion,
and
a second, and
I
then,
think Bob
we did
seconded.
vote all, we did vote.
Did we
all
say
in
aye?
favor.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah. And then, on to organization committee? Anything?
No, I had proposed to Joe that we meet this in the next couple weeks to talk budget things for next year, so
I'm gonna get a date
hopefully we can,
before we leave today. We'll
Yeah.
agree on something.
perfect.
Design and economic vitality.
Same thing, I talked to
Fantastic.
Bonnie and we'll have a date, maybe Monday or Tuesday
Tuesday.
next week. Yeah.
Girl Scout cookie season, I
Girl
understand.
Scout cookie season is wrapping right up. I have very few cases of cookies in my basement.
And then parking and trash, no news on that as well?
I don't think we
You
have a
tabled
parking and
that,
trash
yeah.
committee.
Yeah.
I thought you tabled them.
Yeah,
Took
so,
care of that.
yeah, yeah.
We did.
All right. So,
Took care of that, let me tell you.
adding the budget for the 2026 to 2027 years.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to open that for discussion.
Support.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, and I just wanted to kind of have that discussion that, I think we should work really hard this spring to clean up our budget process so that we can kind of start to separate those lines out. So right now, we're working out of operating supply, and we know we have money, and as Kristen referenced, like, we have some, I forgot what that line is called, blanking, but we have money to spend, and I think we have gotten through our strategic plan. We have some tasks kind of identified there, but I think we should, in this accreditation process and getting our ducks in a row, we should have our work plans for each committee kind of itemized, summarized, and then those work plans should all have budgets associated, and we should ask Mark to separate out our formal budgets to separate buckets so that we've got things that are going to organization, those website costs, communication platform, some different things that we should be looking at
A
this
little
year.
more itemized than,
Right, and the promotions, so we have an events line item, so that they're not all coming out of operating supplies.
Yeah.
So my request to Joe and Bonnie about meeting with committees, and also opening, welcoming, I know some people haven't really been on committees or are new, to join one of those committees to be part of those conversations and look ahead to what kind of projects do we want to consider in 26, 27, 27, 28, 28, 29, so that we're outlining those goals. So that when we vote on any of these individual, like, $5,000 here, $10,000 there, we're always able to reference it back through, is this meeting our master plan goal? I mean, legally, we have to be supporting our master plan, and then, our work plans, and it filters down in a nice, neat budget process.
absolutely.
So if other people have thoughts on how we should do that, one of the questions I had was, do we want Kristen to put work plans together for us to review kind of mid-month? Do we want to put them together as committees and bring them to Kristen to bundle? Like, what's everybody's thought on how we should move forward with that?
I feel like it should kind of come from the committees, not that, I'm sure you have a ton of free time, Kristen. in
Right,
all the stuff that you're doing. But I think you do have a lot on your plate. I think having us give it to you to kind of organize and whatnot. I think for, just kind of with everybody and getting our new kind of commitment to this board, we should send out, what committees are active, who's on which committees, and which committees have space, so that everybody can be on a committee. That way we can have it kind of like a fresh start for this year, and then kind of go from there of saying, hey, we want to do, say monthly work plans, quarterly work plans,
I think they're annual.
annual, okay.
So we set,
yeah.
that's like the events
The
are all
whole
kind of
year.
set with
Okay.
estimated
Yeah.
budgets, right? And the same, like, what do we want to look at?
Yeah.
Project-wise.
Yeah.
When is the master plan put forth, or I guess when is it work done?
I think the master plan is done every 10 years. So our
Oh.
last one was, it's related to the TIF plan. So because we take TIF funding from property taxes, we have to have a legal document that guides how we're spending that money. And then everything that we do, like the events that we plan, they all should support those master plan goals. So it's on the website.
It was just done recently. It
Yeah.
was
Right.
very recent. I'd say within the past.
2022 comes to mind, but I don't.
That's probably right. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we re-upped the TIF that approved us to have that tax increment funding and to have that master plan on the books for, I think it's 10 years.
Yes.
Okay.
And then we also have the recovery zone bond will be paid off by, I think, 2031. So that'll put an extra $100,000 a year into our budget. But I was actually planning on talking during my time today on this, so I'm glad we're bringing it up. I had a draft budget conversation with Mark Pollock yesterday, and so we were starting to talk about the budget process, and it was something I was going to bring back next month. But I think we can definitely look into, like, breaking out operating supplies, like you said, if we want to do the 4 points or whatever it is we want to do, definitely clean that up so that we can have more accountability. We definitely need to look at expending our surplus, so that fund balance, I think I had mentioned it before the meeting started, but 25% of our annual expenditures is an appropriate fund balance, and right now we're like 4 times that. So it's time for us to start investing into the downtown, benches, banners, maybe update some of the trash cans.
The
you know.
structural on the clock, there's the signage, I've made a list of things to talk,
We
within
discussed,
design about
bike
like
racks
what are our
at one
biggest
point.
goals.
Yeah, bike
that?
racks was another
We
thing.
discussed bike racks at one point.
Yeah,
and
we
then-
have more bike racks than we thought we did at
Okay,
that point
that's,
though.
I was trying to remember how that landed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have them throughout. I did, when we were meeting with design committee, I have a map which I'll pretty up and be able to, when we talk on organization committee about putting a platform together to have all those files stored centrally so everybody can reference them. I envision things like having a map of all the bike rack locations, all the bench locations, the condition documented.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of maintenance, kind of big budget maintenance items that
Yeah.
we should prioritize first
Yeah.
and then spend.
And if we want to have like a standing line item for the pavers, because that's something that's, I think, going to be a continuing issue that we need to address, like as pavers heave, as we see things come up, having a line item that's just for our,
Paver
the
maintenance.
maintenance of our infrastructure, yeah.
We previously, I think maybe 3 years ago, we condensed our city cost sharing line to administrative, but that previously was called construction and maintenance. And I think that was earmarked for a lot of those sort of regular DPW maintenance, plus the event support from the city, police, and
Okay,
and
that
everything.
makes
So that used to be a $10,000 line item, and then we had a $2,500 line item that I think covered the finance director, and now we have $35,000 total under administrative.
Internal service charge, yeah.
Yeah, so, and it would be nice to have a better understanding of how that money is allocated and what we're getting for that. I think only 7,500 of it has been spent this year, but that's a significant increase, and we should look at how that's kind of actually spent within the city, and that way we make decisions accordingly.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I agree, we know pavers are gonna need maintenance every year.
Well, one of the things we talked about too is restriping the parking lot behind Noble Fish.
I have that written down too. Well, all of them.
So,
I mean,
yeah,
and
all
I
of
think
them.
that there
Yeah,
have
it's
been
true.
parking studies that
Yeah.
look at how do we get, if we restripe them completely, how do we get that? Maybe it's only 4 or 5 more spots, but 4 or 5 more spots.
yeah,
5 more spots.
exactly.
Restriping is not the problem, man. It's the broken up concrete every which way.
That too.
I mean,
Yeah, that
we
too.
can restripe all we want. We got
Yeah.
flat tires left and right from those potholes, man. But
Those, hopefully that will be fixed soon, but I think something else we need to think about, especially your corner, is how does the DDA get out of the trash business? Because right now, we are spending $27,000 on trash, and the city is matching that as well. And so
Yeah.
that is not a code that's easy to crack, though, because if you look at like Fairway, and we could talk about this all day, but if we look at the amount of trash that Fairway is going to be making as opposed to like Noble Fish, it's just,
my
it's
God.
not fair. So it's not like you can charge based on square footage or anything like that.
Well, the other issue though too is all the people that drive by and just dump.
Exactly.
One
that's a
that-
big one
yeah,
too.
just
Yeah,
how do we
you're right.
monitor that? Because if we're not allowed to use cameras,
Why can't we use cameras?
I think
It's-
there was something.
Hey, get out of
I
here.
think they said it was not enforceable.
It was not enforceable with
Yeah.
camera.
So like we can have the camera, you can film them dumping it, but it's.
Somebody was doing something the other day. It doesn't matter, but
I think more or less the cost is an issue.
Yeah.
It's not the cameras
They
or who's
own
doing.
it.
I mean, you got, what I'm
No.
saying is you got like,
they
no offense, but
monopolize
there are probably certain people's, like, I don't throw out much trash, but I get it. You know, you
Right.
can't weigh it out, who's throwing out more or whatnot, but that is a ridiculous dollar amount.
Yeah.
I'd be looking hard into that, how to figure that out.
They're
You
gonna
know, I
start
mean, it's,
cracking
that's
taxes.
simple. I
That's
mean,
a-
cameras ain't gonna do it, oh, I'm gonna catch you, I'm not gonna sit there and watch a camera all day for someone to throw out some cat litter from the, the apartment complex, you know?
It's not even the cat litter, it's the people just throwing out their whole
Jewelry.
like dining roll, their whole living room set.
Yeah,
I mean,
They're all their
Nick and I went
couches.
out
I mean,
there
it
and
adds
did
up,
sofas.
I
remove
agree
the
100%.
refrigerator. Like,
Yeah.
it,
They'll pick up a refrigerator from your curb.
I know.
Doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense.
I know.
That's also free.
it was at this.
Outside of
People who
Boston.
don't have
Oh, they don't
curbside
have as
pickup.
good of DPW.
Whatever happened to John Cross?
Wasn't so good.
No.
How many times are we like having to pick up the trash? I mean, can we limit that? I understand the overflow, I know we talked about that, but is there a way we can
So
cut that out?
with the trash committee and kind of what we came up with, this was a couple years ago, was basically kind of discussing how many pickups a week would keep the levels good, because the issue I was running into at the whiskey lot was by Friday my dumpster was full, and then I had to run through Saturday, Sunday, and then if we had a holiday, then I'd have to wait till Tuesday, and at that point the entire dumpster area is just filled with trash.
So I have a question. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but.
No worries.
The part over there where Clausen Grill used to be at, there's a
Yeah.
dumpster back there. I think there's two maybe out there.
Yes.
There's two. I mean, do we evaluate, it's kind of weird, but do we evaluate how often they're picking up there and charging us? Because I guarantee you, they're nowhere near filling it up like your side and a Noble.
Or our side.
We do, yes. So we do keep an eye on that. We keep an eye on it pretty closely. So like the northeast corner, they have to pick up 5 days a week. And so we actually had somebody out there making sure they were coming 5 days a week because there was overflow. A lot of it was people illegally dumping.
Right,
but
there,
still.
right, because there is apartment complexes back there. So I'm sure they charge you the per, like, we have two back there. What, I mean, I know it's that apartment complex back there. They think it's theirs, right? What if we moved it? There's one directly back there. There's all this there's housing there. There's apartment complexes. They're right there.
You're talking about ours.
What if I'm saying, where's the other one at?
No, I think he's talking the southeast corner. You're talking back behind
No,
Clausen
I'm-
Grill?
Where?
No,
Behind Clausen Grill?
Yeah, she said northeast. Oh, sorry, northeast where Noble's at. Sorry about that.
Where we're at.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm
Well,
saying.
I mean, maybe a suggestion that I just brainstorm is that one being filled up where Clausen Grill used to be at?
I think so. You
Yeah.
would probably know better than me, but I think I've been out there a few times and they've been full. I don't know if you have a recurring problem behind like Sabbath.
No, that one's actually usually like medium full, unless
Right,
there's like
because
a
of
big
the
thing.
apartment complexes and the housing that's closer by, and it's easy to throw shit in. Excuse me, throw stuff in there, because there's no.
The-
There's no problem. Like if I was a resident there and I had a bunch of garbage, guess what I'm throwing it out at?
The problem is if we were to put like a locking mechanism on that, then the waste haulers would not be able to pick those up. So
Understood, but
it's a code we need to crack. There's a lot of improvement that we need to make.
how much a year is that one dumpster costing the city? Because if you guys want one out by Black Sabbath, awesome. By Sabbath, which I agree, I would buy it. I mean, I guarantee if it's not much, it's because they're the only ones using it.
The only issue will be when the new restaurant opens
Yeah.
in Clausen Grill's location, then all of a sudden it'll be full.
Bring
so-
it back, but I'm
Plus,
saying
there's
how
gotta be
much.
construction garbage and whatnot from the construction.
So I know there was some stuff with Blooms, like when they did their initial opening,
Right,
obviously
of
there's a
course.
lot of boxes. So I think there is also like the restock days that it does fill up, but I'm
It's
sure it's
got-
kind of more ebbing and flowing at this point.
But I'm just curious how much
Alright.
one dumpster costs.
Can I
a
say
year.
something? It's got very little to do with us and Grand River. Grand River had an issue, we cleared it up. It's got everything to do with the plasticware on the sides of the street. I'm not talking who, but it's them. And we're just gonna leave it at that. Because they do everything takeout. So when you got everything takeout, man, and you got people throwing out, this is true. It's not like they're taking everything's takeout. They eat, they go out and they throw. These guys are doing 400,000 or 500,000 a month in revenue. They're about to do 2 million with this extra thing. You think they care about the trash, dude? Because if they cared, they would put in the effort. But we've went to them. They don't.
So it sounds like we need to resurrect the parking and trash committee and look at some long-term projects, but we need somebody to lead that.
Do we need to separate it and make, if the trash is such a huge line item, should it have its own committee?
I think parking and trash was just because we didn't have enough members at that point,
Okay.
so
The
we just did
in
it.
the parking lots.
Yeah,
Right.
so
I
I mean,
think
we can keep them together. I mean, there is some correlation to it, especially like we were discussed, like if you move the dumpster, we lose parking spaces. Do we have to get restriped, that kind of stuff, so, I mean, I
Can
think
I ask
they-
a question? I'm just completely oblivious to this because my business is outside of the DDA,
Yeah.
so my contributions are different. We all have to pay for our own dumpsters.
Yeah.
So how is this the DDA's?
So the issue you run into is if you looked at like just the Whiskey Taco parking lot in that area, like Gus's pays for their own dumpster. We use the city lot or the city dumpster, and then probably like 8 other businesses use that. So then if you had to say, hey, you're all paying for your own dumpster, we're looking at potentially 5 different dumpsters over there, it would become a space.
When
that
I
you
was
could
at
park in.
Haberman, we shared. We had
Yeah.
the 3 businesses share. I just am curious, has
You
anybody
know,
ever
I
talked
think
about that?
a real solution, and again, this would more be a committee thing, would be something along the lines of saying, hey, if you operate a restaurant, you pay this
Yeah.
much. If you operate
Yeah.
office, you pay this much.
Yeah.
If you operate this, you pay this much.
Charlie, is there a
I think that's
difference?
probably the best thing, but I think that would have to go to like a committee, bring it to us, and then council would have to approve, city would have to approve,
Right.
whatnot.
Is there a difference in pickup time for your dumpster versus Gus's pays for their own, so that they pick up more often?
As far as I know with Gus's, I want to say they're doing it 2 times a week from what I've seen. I also could just be off from, you know, when the trucks that are pulling it out. As far as the city lot goes, we're at 3 times
If,
in my lot. It's 3 times in my lot, and then 5 times for Noble,
Yeah.
right?
5
So-
times for who?
For the Noble dumpsters, they're supposed to pull it 5 times a week.
All right, I'm there 7 days a week, 16 hours a day, 5 times on my ass. They're not doing that, but whatever. So whatever. No, let Noble figure it out. They got billions of dollars.
They're not gonna
They can
figure it out.
How do other cities handle this and other DDAs? Do they have the
charge
cost
them
sharing?
more.
Write a check and get it done. That's
Yeah.
what Noble's
They have
doing.
bigger
10 million in
budgets.
business.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Does Dimitri,
Businesses pay?
Does,
The other businesses pay?
does Dimitri's place, does it
Yeah.
have,
Yeah.
how is his, is he getting a lot of illegal dumping on his?
No, his is against the building, so it's a lot harder to kind of pull up and then run up to the building and do it. The one behind us is at least far enough away that like you can block it with a car, throw your stuff away. You know, our camera can get license plates and whatnot, but again, it's the, am I hunting people down
Yeah.
for the dumping they're doing?
Because the one that's behind me, the one that
Yeah.
we share, that one is just, it's ridiculous, like the garbage that gets thrown there, it's
Yeah.
all household stuff.
Yeah.
It's all household stuff, it's overflowing,
You
and
know what, it's a mess.
it's
Hey, Charlie.
furniture, it's trees, it's,
All right.
Wait, have we,
So-
have we thought of, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
yeah.
Maybe Kristen can call around and just check another town that's similar to us, not Royal, not Birmingham, or Rochester, but another town to see, hey, have you had this issue? Is this, you know, how did you guys control it? Or, you know the numbers. So why don't we ask another, I mean, I'm sure someone here's got another connection, like in Ferndale or somewhere a little smaller, that they can figure out, like, what do they do for their town?
I think downtown Clarkston is like about our
Or
size.
Berkeley's pretty similar
Yeah.
to us.
Members of the Michigan Downtown Association have like a message board, so I'll put that question out there and I'll see what responses I get back from other DDAs
That's a good idea.
across the state.
When you guys are in Tulsa, look for any, sessions. There's so many people from across the country with downtowns, and so many of them are small towns out west or rural
to
areas
Brighton.
that are
Yeah.
similar.
Talk to Brighton.
Yeah, but that's hard to
so much
adjust
better.
though a little bit too, but I guess you can gauge an idea. with
Just for
these-
creative,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
just-
you know,
Is there-
thoughts.
What's the budget for Tulsa? I haven't,
Yeah.
throwing
No,
it
just
out
good
there.
ideas on how they might structure it.
No,
or
no,
how
no,
they
I'm,
might-
I'm,
yeah.
I didn't know they were going to Tulsa on our dime, but that's okay.
Well, I just think we're too close to major, big, rich cities for us not to be taken care of.
No, a
That's what I'm
lot of the
saying.
problem is that, in my opinion, is everything's free in this town.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it at that.
Can't touch
All right.
parking.
Free garbage,
on
throw
budget.
it away.
It's not free for
Yeah, any
me.
more on budget?
Right.
So I think to summarize though, the general opinion is that the committees should put together kind of projected ideas of budgets and bigger ideas and prioritize and bring them back.
Absolutely. Okay.
Sorry, who did second that? Was that you, Sue? Sure. I didn't write it down.
Did we get a vote? We didn't do a vote on that as well?
It was just an open discussion,
Oh, discussion.
so.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. Opening the floor to board comment.
I have one, I've been,
Yeah.
I just want to know how the board feels, all the business owners feel about the protesters on the streets on a Saturday morning, screaming with bullhorns, screaming at the ongoing traffic. I have my opinion of it. I don't think we should condone that. I did report it Monday. I had one client said that she didn't want to get out of the car. She parked in the back. I had comments made to me by bullhorns, by screaming at me. by some of the protesters. I've had some other comments, but I want to hold that back at this minute, and I'll bring them up when need be. But I just want to know how the board feels about protesters on a Saturday morning
So,
interrupting your business and ongoing traffic and such.
with a lot of this, protesting, they did file their, basically that they were going to protest, right?
They notified our chief.
Yeah.
The
So
question
we
is
we
how
have the
the-
process of like we do get the notifications that they will happen. So if there's ever a protest, if it's not notified, then we can tell them that they can move, or it's not in compliance. But basically, there is a pathway for people to come. Hey, we're planning a protest. It's going to be from this time to this time. We're informed from it. I think a benefit for the DDA and what we should look at on this is at least maybe putting it out there saying, hey, at this time there will be a protest, whether we state what it is or whatnot, but just letting people know for information.
Could the
'Cause
police
it
have
just-
told them not to be in front of businesses and go
They-
across the street to
Can't
the?
be.
They can't be, it's public right away, it's part of their freedom of speech, and that they legally have to allow them to engage in public protest. It's the law,
And,
yeah.
and it's
Let me-
I've been in other cities, like in Ann Arbor, there was a lot of issues of more flash protest where we had, PETA came into one of our grocery stores because we did cured bacon in-house, and they did a full protest through the grocery store. There was nothing we could do about it. We were polite. We gave them coffee. They
Okay.
came in. They left. I mean,
I get it. I
it's-
just want to know how the businesses feel was my question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay? And when they're protesting in the morning, yelling, screaming at you,
Yeah.
because I was one of the people,
Yeah.
and whether I agree or what they're not doing, I understand. But the business owners is what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Can I say
Now,
something?
let me just say this: I know you guys. They sent something out. Blah blah blah. Is there any way for us as DDA members and business owners to act on it first before we approve it? Now,
It's
let me just-
not
let me
really
just-
an approval thing.
I
It's more
understand that.
about
Well, hold
letting
on.
you know.
Right.
Just hold on a second. I can put together a list. One of the protesters, actually, 2 or 3 of the protesters, said things that were very disturbing to me.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll bring them up. Okay, they're kids and they're not violent. Okay, I disagree with that. You can tell that to some families that have lost their lives during protest. What are we doing as a city to condone protesters in our town that don't care about businesses? Let me just, hold on, and I'll let you speak. I was told I can't have certain things up on ongoing traffic, okay? These people are yelling at bullhorns, walkers, drivers about our government and other things, okay? I feel very strongly that when I have a business and they don't care about my business, and a comment was made to me, well, just tell them they're just kids and not violent when they come in your store. I would love to have that opportunity, but they don't make it to my store because of where they were parked at. Most of the restaurants in the area get going, let's just call it 11:30, 12 o'clock. And, I'm a jewelry store with security issues. Now I know that I have to report it because when I came in on Monday, I talked to the chief here, and I don't want to be that person, but at the end of the day, I'm protecting my business. If they were in front of your store or they did it with the cinema, let's say they did it with cinema in the streets, and let's say they were going to protest before. We're going to say it's free. They can do whatever they want. It's public. They can stand there. But I don't condone that as a business owner, and I think it hurts our town. I think it hurts people coming here. There might be some people that like being yelled at. I don't, especially by a bullhorn right in my ear. It's not fair. What are we condoning here in this town?
Can I say something? It's no different than someone preaching the gospel.
Okay, time out. I'm talking about this particular. I understand that.
No, because-
So anybody doesn't know, I can do whatever I want to do when these protesters come in, because it's free, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so if anybody knows anything about certain protesters, there's a certain prayer that is if you play this prayer, if anybody knows anything about this, they have to stop. It's a little bit more deep maybe than some people know, but I do know that. But it hurt my business that day. Maybe not yours, maybe
No,
it
it
helped
hurt
your
mine
business.
too. It hurt
But I'm
mine
just
too.
saying, that's what I'm trying to get at, Marty. I want to know what the owners feel about, like, is this good for our business? That's all I'm saying.
The businesses can't impugn people's constitutional right for freedom of speech, and the city is obligated to facilitate, having followed the proper protocol, people exercising their constitutional right. I mean, it's just as fundamental as that the city was obligated, because they followed the ordinance and the proper protocol, to allow those people their freedom of speech.
But how
Hands
are they
down.
allowed to impede their businesses? If they're standing in front of their businesses, can't we enforce you can't block?
They didn't block the businesses. He's saying because there was some people were uncomfortable because of their presence. They didn't block. They didn't block the business. They didn't come across the street to your businesses. They stayed on the corner across
That
the
is not,
street.
that is not,
On
that
the
is not
Pizza
right.
Hut
Yes,
corner.
they did, one of them. Two of them did. I mean, you condoned it.
And if they came across it and blocked your businesses, you certainly could have called the police on them. But that's not the issue. Your issue is with their mere presence, which they had absolute right to do, and they followed protocol.
No,
And just
it's
for
not the
record,
Go
for
ahead.
the 4th of July, you might remember this too. Those are paid spots in the park for the arts and crafts show. The artists pay for each space. We had protesters come and just take over a space that was paid by somebody else. They could not make them leave, even though the police tried to come over. Security came over. They said it's a public park. Even though those vendors paid for that space, they got to stay there.
Which, I mean, so that's someone knowing
I mean,
knowing
pull
the
my truck in
system,
front of
right?
them,
I mean,
but-
and it is a public park. I mean,
Yeah,
I get
okay.
that. I
Well,
get that's a problem.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, my point is, businesses cannot impugn people's constitutional right to protest in the city.
Nor would we.
Well, he's
only
asking
he's only
asking what the
asking.
businesses feel about it,
Yeah,
and you can
absolutely.
feel how you feel, but that's moot, because at the end of the day,
Oh,
they have a
that's-
constitutional
that's-
right.
That's not true, though.
It's moot.
Hold on.
You know, moot, right?
Yeah,
We-
Albanian for.
Hey,
I don't know.
it's
That's Albanian.
it's not. I mean, we have some type of control over the city, and if we're condoning that, I know we're opening up a can of worms one day. Something will break loose.
We have no choice.
And
So.
it's unfair for
Yeah.
us as business owners, because I don't want to brick through my window. I don't want one client said they were going to write to the city. Maybe this person received an email that we haven't heard about it. But I'm just saying, yes, you're right. This is freedom of speech. I'm speaking now, even though I'm part of the board.
Same with the parade,
That's
all
not
of
the
it.
question.
Do you think it would like, as the DDA board, do you think we could support you by providing a notification when they give notification
Absolutely,
to the city?
100%.
And then
Yeah.
something like,
Oh.
somebody said, there are rules around where they have to stand in the public right of way. Could that be summarized so that all our business owners know
When-
what to ask for? Or
Yeah, or
When
maybe
you
they
have
should-
when
ask
you have
questions,
kids,
kind of
when
thing
you
would
have
be great.
kids,
Yeah,
You could
we
ask
have
the chief
kids.
of police to put something like that together,
Or,
because it was.
or
a
maybe
very-
move the spot every now and again. I mean,
It's in a right of way. I mean, they chose where they wanted to be.
Yeah,
in the
we
public right of
know
way.
could
that.
say no to
Yeah.
that and
We-
choose a spot for them to go to.
Well, look,
You can't say no
at
to
the end of the
it.
day, if they're yelling at traffic,
That's
they're
it.
yelling. Just let me.
No, I agree.
Okay.
I agree with you, man.
If they're yelling at traffic, people are stopped there, and you know what? Not everybody sees what they're seeing.
Yeah.
Okay, and if somebody is stopped there and they're yelling at them in this bullhorn, okay, to me that is just. Why would I want to go to that city and hear that? Number one, I'm just let me please, because it was my business that was affected, not yours. Okay, and it happened in the morning, because that's when they were there, and when something happens to you, you take action. Okay,
You take police action, and the appropriate thing, if someone was interfering with your business, the appropriate course of action would have been to call the police. I know that the police went by on a regular basis to make sure that they were orderly, and yes, we got one complaint from your customer, and that was the only complaint
so
the
she
council
did email
received.
you. I mean,
She did.
email the city.
She did, and she also got annoyed because the preponderance of response she got was, unfortunately, they were exercising their rights of free speech, and that's full stop, end of story.
So, anyways, I get it, and it was my fault for not reporting it that day, and now I found out some things that I can do to hopefully make them stop. Nothing bad. It's it's freedom of speech, but that was a Clawson resident that I had to deal with.
Oh, actually, she identified herself as not a Clawson resident.
Well, maybe she
identified
wanted to
herself
also
as a
identify
Birmingham
herself as
resident.
not, she didn't want to,
Yeah,
be
she
a punk.
clearly identified she was not a Clawson resident.
she
was
was.
just a client,
Just
the one that wrote us. I don't know
Okay,
who.
well,
you
I know who it was.
Yeah.
Well, maybe you have two clients that, or two people that,
Right.
but she was scared to park in front of the store because of all the screaming, all that action. I know we sit there and turn ourselves and this and that, but if I can't speak my mind on something that I feel very, very firmly about, that it's affecting my business, because if I'm the only business that got affected by it, well, I'm sorry.
Technically, you can protest their protest.
No, I'm not. Look, I'm not.
No, really.
I'm
That's
just saying we're
freedom of
opening up a
speech
can of
right there,
worms as a
man.
city for something the bad happen, whether it's now or years from now. If we're going to condone that.
I think this is a good opportunity with this of, again, going back to Kelly and kind of asking, hey, can
know
we
what to
get
do
can we
now.
get some frequently asked questions like how do I handle protesters? What is the best procedures? What's allowed? What's not allowed?
I
as well as
understand
being notified. I mean, I think having that, it's because for me, it's always one of those. I find it when I go on my first delivery where I'm like, oh, there's protesting today.
It's like free parking in this town.
yeah.
Can I share
It's
some?
exactly the same thing. It's like I know what the response is going to be from the protesters, which is not fair for the business owners. That was my point. We all got rights.
Yeah.
I get that, but it's not fair. Especially, what happens if an accident comes in and there's a walker that gets a child hit in our town because of somebody being distracted by the protesters? That's what I'm saying. No one looks at it in that point of view.
Can I share just a few perspectives on this? I'm not a business owner, but I did drive by it and I did notice it, and then I did have like an initial reaction to it. But my first thing is they chose that spot because it's completely underdeveloped and it looks like anybody could just stand there. And they didn't choose any other corner because it is a business. So maybe that puts a little bit more pressure on developing that as something that just implies that, like, look, this isn't a congregation area. They didn't go next to woodpile in that huge empty lot. They chose the intersection because they would get the most face value. They did get my attention when I drove by, and it made me think, and this is kind of a positive thing, I was like, look at Clawson showing up to do something. It felt like I saw the community coming together.
Yep.
Did you look at them at all, though? Did you look that way when you drove by?
Yeah, I was right next to
what
them.
happens if you would have hit something? You were distracted.
I mean,
We say that all the time. Look, I get it. I'm cool with it. It's a good observation, but I'm just letting you know. I
what
think
I'm
it's
curious
unsafe.
of is how often has it been happening? I've only seen it once.
Well, I've seen it a couple times.
But it's okay, because we need to do it. It's
Yeah.
America.
I look at the neon sign every time I pass City Hall, and I look at that briefly. I could definitely hit somebody at that point.
I'm surprised the city hasn't said anything about it because they will, because I had a TV up and I had to turn that TV off because it's a distraction for the town.
That's true, too.
But I
know
do
it is.
think having something developed there probably would prevent that because we have such a small downtown square anyway. But
That's a good point you make.
All right. Do we have any other board comment today? I'd like to congratulate Kristen on her director position officially. Thank you. Doing a great job. Way to interview for your job for 2.5 years.
Oh, I do have a comment.
Yes.
One more thing. For Restaurant Week that we drew the name on Thursday, we have a winner. It was suggested by Weiss that we go from 30, their guest list go from 30 to 25, just so we have extra space and there's more space there. I need to have a count of if there's DDA members that I know you expressed interest to be there.
I did, but
For
now
Friday?
my boys are coming in town.
Okay, okay. So,
I can help. I just need to know what day so I can hire the people to work that day.
it'll be Friday, March 28th, second floor.
27.
27, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Don't mess me
So,
up, Charlie.
So yeah, the event is gonna be from 7 o'clock to 11 o'clock, so, things that we need is like someone at the door and,
I mean, if you need support, I can pop by. We'll talk after. Do you tell
Yeah,
me
we
what
can
you
talk
need?
If you
after,
send
so-
an email, I can volunteer too, or a sign up genius, or whatever you need.
okay.
All right.
Or assign us
It's not even
roles.
so much a volunteer basis, it's just if somebody, if
You wanna come hang
DDA
out.
wanted to come out and show their faces and say, hey, we're the DDA because it's
Yeah.
a DDA event. Kind of thing, so,
Awesome.
yeah,
Okay.
Rob, do you mind sending an email to the board then?
I do.
To get a
No,
head
no.
count?
Okay, I'll send something,
Fair, yeah,
Just have it here quiet.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'll send something out.
okay.
Thank you, Rob. All right. City administration comment?
Just one. The agenda packet for April will probably come early or late, because Bonnie and I will be in Tulsa.
Oh, good.
So, if we can get it done while we're there, chances are I'll probably need to be here in the office though to get it done, so expect it early or unfortunately a little bit later.
Okay. Clausen Chamber Liaison comment? Alec?
Sorry I was late. The only thing I have is we have our Easter egg hunt coming up. So if any businesses want to participate, let me know. I'm trying to put the map together by Friday. 2 ways of participating. If you have a storefront, you can purchase eggs, hide them in your storefront. You'll be put on a map, and it'll draw people into your business Saturday the 4th from 10 to 12. If you don't have a storefront, you can donate eggs, and we'll hide those at the starting point, which will be the Historical Museum. So just a good way to interact, get back to the community, participate with the kids.
Yeah.
So, if anybody has any questions or any interests, let me know. We're
I
always
have an
looking.
interest in it.
There we go. I'll talk to you after.
Yeah, we did it last year. The kids loved it.
I got
Yeah.
diamond
Store.
ring. We put a diamond ring in one of them.
Oh,
You know.
wait, what?
I'm loaded,
If that's,
man. I'm ready.
hey, listen, but that's what we say. So with the eggs, and then we do have one golden egg, so it can be something people did, $5,
We do all
bill.
these pub crawls and everything. Let's do a golden egg at Clausen Jewelers, huh?
Yeah.
I'm in.
And we're stuffing eggs on,
Stuffing eggs. So for the people that, because you have the other option too, if you don't want to stuff your own eggs, you can give us the money. We'll go buy the eggs and everything. We're stuffing them on the 29th at 1 p.m.
How many eggs for the businesses?
So we recommend, our minimum is 25, but we always recommend more because the kids, it's hard to limit eggs for kids because they just keep going no matter how many times you say, hey, maybe that's enough. So we had a couple of businesses that ran out super fast last year. So, but yeah.
do they the businesses hand out the eggs or they hide them?
We hid them in our store.
They hide them in the store.
really?
So the goal is for the kids to come in, experience, like parents go, oh, I'm in pop-up and I need shirts made. It sort of trigger that option to purchase,
Okay.
see what's going on. And you can hide them wherever you want. It doesn't have to be, in the jewelry case. You don't have to put them there, but,
I
put
think
them
we
up in
still
the
have
front.
some in the store if you look around.
Bonnie hit them so well that there's still some from last year. So,
You said you cleaned this. I said, oh.
but yeah, that's all I got. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up. So,
Thank you, Alec.
thank you.
All right. Public comment? No? Thanks for being here today. Appreciate it. All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move we
Yes.
adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 I feel like it's a pirate meeting with all the eyes.
Aye.
Ow,